everybody, I wanted to talk to you today about Peter and the Wolf. Peter and the Wolf is one of my favorite pieces to teach in class, and so I'm a little sad that I missed out on it, but I wanted to go ahead and at least tell you a little bit about it and show you some of the video links I'll post below that you can watch the story and see it being told through a ballet. Peter and the Wolf is a story about a little boy named Peter, and he lives with his grandfather. And his grandfather doesn't want him to go outside beyond the gate because there are wolves out there and he's kind of scared for Peter. But Peter thinks that he can do it. He's not scared of the wolves. And there's a lot more to the story, but we'll get to that in just a moment. Now the story is told through some speaking, some dialogue, but it's also told through the different instruments. And each instrument is a different character in this story. So I wanted to introduce you to the characters and to the instruments that are portraying those characters, and then I'll tell you the story. So we have a few characters on this page. This is Peter. Peter is played by the string section. We really hear it in the violins. Our next character is the bird, played by the flute, which is a good use of the flute because oftentimes when we hear the flute, we think of that little bird tweeting along, singing along. Then we have our duck played by the oboe. We have our cat played by the clarinet. Then we have our grandfather played by the bassoon. And when you hear the bassoon, it does sound kind of like a cranky old grandpa shaking his finger and yelling at Peter. We have our timpani. Sometimes we call them kettle drums. And you'll hear that boom, 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 and that is the sound of the hunters. And they are hunting the wolf. The wolf is played by the French horn. In fact, you'll hear 3 French horns playing the part of the wolf. Today, we'll just hear the story of Peter and the Wolf, but again, I'm gonna put the links below to the music. You can hear the orchestra play the Peter and the Wolf story, and the conductor is the narrator to the story. And then the other link is to the ballet, which I love the ballet, and it's a really neat way that they kind of tell this story through dance. This is Peter and the Wolf, again by Sergei Prokofiev. Early one morning, Peter opened the gate and walked out into the big green meadow. In a tall tree sat Peter's friend, a little bird. Everything is calm and quiet, the bird chirped merrily. Waddling behind Peter came a duck. The duck was delighted that Peter had not closed the gate, and she decided to go for a swim in the deep pond in the meadow. Seeing the duck, the little bird flew down, sat on the grass beside the pond, and shrugged. "What kind of bird are you if you can't fly?" she said. "And what kind of bird are you if you can't swim?" the duck answered, and she plopped into the pond. They argued a long time, the duck swimming around the pond, the little bird hopping along the bank. Peter suddenly noticed a cat stealing through the grass. The cat thought, "That bird is busy arguing, and now is my chance to catch it." Silently on velvet paws, the cat crept toward the bird. "Look out!" Peter called out just in time, and the little bird quickly fluttered up into the tree. The duck quacked at the cat angrily from the middle of the pond. The cat paced around the tree. "Is it worth climbing up that high?" he thought. "By the time I get up there, the little bird will have flown away." Peter's grandfather came out of the house. He was angry because Peter had gone past the gate into the meadow. There were dangerous places out there. What if a wolf should come out of the woods? Peter paid no attention to what his grandfather said. Brave boys like Peter were not afraid of wolves. Nevertheless, his grandfather took Peter's hand and led him back home and closed the gate firmly. Just then, a huge gray wolf did come out of the woods. The cat quickly climbed to the tree. The duck quacked and scrambled out of the pond, but no matter how fast the duck tried to run, the wolf ran faster. He came closer and closer. He caught up with her. He grabbed her and swallowed her. Now, the cat perched on one branch of the tree, the little bird on another, farther away from the cat. The wolf paced around the tree and looked up at them with hungry eyes. Peter, who stood behind the closed gate, had seen everything that had happened, but he wasn't at all frightened. He ran home, found a heavy rope, and then climbed up on the high stone wall. One of the branches of the tree reached as far as the wall. Peter grabbed the branch and nimbly climbed into the tree. He said to the little bird, "Circle around the wolf's nose, but be careful not to let him catch you." The little bird flew down and almost touched the wolf's nose with her wings, and the angry wolf jumped with every which way. Oh, how the little bird teased the wolf, how the wolf wanted to catch her, but the little bird was quick, and the wolf could do nothing. Peter made a loop at the end of the rope, lowered it slowly, caught the wolf's tail in it, and pulled tight. The wolf knew he was caught, and in his rage he jumped about, trying to free himself, but Peter tied the other end of the rope to the tree. The more the wolf jumped, the tighter he pulled the rope around his own tail. Just at that moment, some hunters came out of the woods. They had been tracking the wolf and were firing their rifles. Peter called to them from the tree, "Don't shoot! The little bird and I have already caught the wolf. Help us take him to the zoo." And so they did. Just imagine the triumphant procession. And so they did. Just imagine the triumphant procession. Peter walked in front. Behind him came the hunters, leading the wolf. Peter's grandfather and the cat came last. Grandfather shook his head with displeasure. "And what if Peter had not caught the wolf?" he said. "What then?" Above them flew the little bird chirping, "Hurrah for Peter and me! Just see what we have caught." And if you listen very carefully, you will hear the duck quacking in the wolf's stomach. For the wolf, in his haste, had swallowed the duck alive. That is Peter and the wolf. Again, the different characters are portrayed by different instruments. So Peter is the string family, our bird is the flute, our duck is the oboe, the cat is the clarinet, the bassoon is the grandfather, the hunters are the timpani, and the wolf are the French horns. I hope that you enjoyed this story. Definitely check out the recordings of Peter and the Wolf, because hearing the instruments actually tell the story just makes it come to life a lot more.